Are you somebody that has a business, but you just have no idea how to create content? You need a little bit of structure and you need to figure out how to communicate your offers on what platform. I created something called the Content Engine Operator, and it's going to allow you to understand how to build on social media platforms and sell your business. So I'm going to walk you through it today and we're going to see what it looks like. So it's hosted right now inside ChatGPT. So it's an engine, but it is also an operator, meaning it has governing rules, protocols, boundaries, constraints that are all programmed inside it so it can function in a way to give you value. So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to go where I've been hosting my tools is a place called Beacons. So you can find Beacons right here, Content Engine Operator. So what I found is really cool is you can use Canva and you can take Canva images and put them into AI, and AI kind of acts like a translation layer. So instead of prompting AI, you can just take the images from Canva and you can put them inside, and this is a faster process. It's connected to my translations of systems framework. And what this means is like, we have these signals, right? We have these creative signals, we have this creative energy that's inside us, and that can be translated into AI systems so it can be sharpened and created with more, less complexity and more clarity. This is how I started thinking like an entrepreneur because I had a lot of channeled ideas and I didn't know how to contain them. I didn't know how to communicate them. So they would come through and I would use AI as a translation layer. And I would literally talk to my phone, like talk to my phone, I'll show you. I have a really big idea and I'm really excited. My client wants to get on Google. They want to be found on Google and they want to be searched with AI. They want to be searched. I have documented the journey that think it's a year and a half ago now. Yes, I found one of my mentors through AI search. And now this is becoming an offer for businesses to offer help with this. What it really means is, from what I am learning, is having interconnected systems. So having all of your systems interconnected. What are the types of offers that I can sell to my audience to help them understand this? I think it's called GEO, but yeah, and how does it connect to the content engine operator? So there we go. See my phone? And we're going to hit send. I work with other people's tools too, so you may see that a little bit on the screen. I'm pretty transparent about it. So the bigger idea is not I sell GEO, it's I help businesses become understandable, discoverable, and trustworthy across Google and AI search, which is what I do. I now sell a practical done-for-you service where I help small business owners and early stage founders become operational online in 1 to 3 weeks' time. I just signed my third monthly client for $99 a month, and this is so I can put in the reps and build a foundation for a new business. So when I launch my communities and my offers, I already have proof, I already have case studies, I already have trust, and I'm not speaking to people that are ghosts anymore. I had a lot of ghosts, and what I realized is I thought that the skills I developed in one area were going to translate to another area, but I actually had to develop the skills in the other area and build the proof. And even though energetically, yes, the layers translated. Practically, no. A lot of people told me they can't understand me. They're not sure where I'm coming from. But once you get to that level of clarity where they do, it's very powerful because you stay attuned to your creative energy. You're able to feel like, okay, nothing's wrong with me. They just need a little bit more clarity, or I need to make this offer more practical. I need to connect it to an outcome. So what is the outcome? This tool is for anybody that I know that has texted me, asked me about my business, they're interested in working with me, but they cannot afford a website right now. Maybe they just started a business and they need a little bit of help. They need a little bit of guidance. This content engine operator is going to give you just that, and it's not going to take too much of your time. So once you have access to it, it's hosted in AI, and no, you cannot resell it. Okay. If you try to, it's just not going to work because when you are able to connect to your creative signal, your creative energy, and then build things that are actually connected to the business that you are running right now and the problems that you're facing and your life story, you almost have more clarity. You can move faster. And this engine is going to help you move faster. It's going to help you move faster and understand how to have clarity in your business and structure. So you're not waking up every day channeling, trying to talk to AI and turn your thinking into clear business content and language. I found something that was happening to me is when I was in my open channel like energy. What I mean by this is like no medication, open channel, like fully attuned. I found that some of my reels that I was about to post turned out to be talking about trauma, or something. And it's because environment plays such a role in how we show up, how we communicate, and the identity we choose to operate in. So even though I had changed to a new account there and I'm operating in a new identity, there's still this layer of pain connected to the past. So it was almost hard for me to take a few more inches forward. And when we were able to communicate for longer on platforms like YouTube, then we can actually understand the root of why we're having the feelings or emotions that we are. And we can choose to communicate with structure and do it boldly. And when we start here, it's almost easier to build on short form platforms if you're a deep thinker like me, if you're somebody that does not have the easiest time protecting their signal and they need a lot of space to think. So I want to give you a free trial of what this looks like. So inside my Signal to Income school, this is where I host all my operators. And right now, nobody has entered because I haven't really been marketing it, but it's 222 to enter, and you will be able to have access to these. I'm thinking about putting on a payment plan, but right now it's 222 to enter. So if you find it, I should probably make it publicly discoverable. So we go to school, pricing. Okay. So no, we want to make it like, I still think that's even very low. So I'm gonna do tiers. I'm gonna do 222, and then I'm gonna do like, let's see. It's 222 on the website. It's so hard. I'm really bad at pricing, guys. Really, really bad. So no, we can't do that. Okay, whatever. It's 222 right now. It's going to be 222 for a moment. If you want to find it, you can find it at signaltoincome.com. It's not being hid. It's just I have so many layers that I'm interconnecting that I didn't really know how to sell it. So it's 222. It was originally called the Artist Launchpad, and I changed the name like two times because yeah, I was learning. So it's essentially an operating system, and inside you're going to be taken through a pathway. And on that pathway, we have calibration, direction, offer, systems, visibility, revenue, and ecosystem. So this is a nice layer to have while you are building other things, because once you have access to it, you do not have access to the prompts inside it. Just note that. And as I learn a little bit more about other places to host these things, um, actually, that's something I need to learn now. Always learning. Yep. So it's 222 to enter now, and you'll have access to some of these operators. $7 founder signal engine is a safe first layer bet. So what happened was I got really excited about building operators. I got really excited and everyone taught me something different because I have my deep thinking operators. There's only like five. And then I have these, which there's a lot. But you don't need all of them. So what I realized is instead of selling this big system filled with all these GBTs, I started packaging them into single GBTs so people can use them. And I realized that giving them away for free and just like giving them to people, they didn't really see the value because they weren't a part of this. So the free GBT, they're just like, oh, it's just a GBT. I don't care, you know. But it's just kind of like it's like telling someone, oh, I have like a hardcover book over a paper book. I'm going to give it to you. But like the value is really what's inside it. And it's kind of like the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. This is essential in the age of AI because I said this a few weeks ago that the AI images, the flyers that all these artists are attacking, like, oh my gosh, everybody's using AI flyers. It's a problem. Well, that's just a layer. There's many other layers, okay? It's like shaming a new painter that just learned how to paint. They're so excited. Finally, they can move faster. They could get their business out there, and you're shaming them because they're using AI. So it really just it's connected to your belief system and that I've had people block me, ghost me, ignore me, hate me, all because I'm using AI. And it's such a contrasting difference between those people and the people that are in the communities that I'm in. And I almost felt like I had to prove myself, and then the proving ended up at work of all places. It ended up at my like weekend job. And we should not have to prove our worth at all. We need to take the data from what we are doing, package it, put it into something. Somebody has a problem. Okay, listening to somebody that texted me, for example, right? I listened to them. They did not seem interested in a one-on-one call, but they did ask if I had an operator for building content. They did ask if I knew how to build that. So this is what I created for them and realized in doing that, it brought me to a new level because once somebody explains the problem to you, then you can understand what people are actually looking for and what they're interested in right now. So that's very powerful. Um, so yeah, I'm looking to combine all these together. So I have these layers, right? I have like a book, I have GBTs, I have a step-by-step program, and now I'm coming to the surface and talking about all of them. And if this is you, if you are somebody that has been building in silence, trying to create the best thing, just understand that every time you communicate online on YouTube and you can show people on the screen what you're doing on YouTube, it is going to amplify your presence. You are going to be understood by people. They're going to text you, they're going to email you, and they're going to ask how you got here. How do you know all this? And how can I work with you? When they want to work with you, there's done for you. So you can have an agency, you can build websites, you could have a done for you service, but there's also done with you. And that's the community layer that we have the opportunity to build inside platforms like School, Skool. If you don't know about School, School is now only $9 a month to create a community. And I'll put the link in the description so you can start building one today. It's free for 14 days. But if you have a school, think about it like you have your own ecosystem that is off platform that you are rerouting people to. And it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but once you're able to do this, we can separate the platforms from like a mastermind or a course, a digital product, we can now create these like communities. And community is a good word for it because in the beginning, I didn't look at it as a community. I was like, how do I use this thing? Because I can actually afford it now, and other people are using it and they're building million-dollar businesses. How do I start? What do I do? And I knew that that was the moment that I had to stop consuming. I had to start creating again because every time you post on YouTube, every time you send people to your link, they might not watch it today, but they might watch it tomorrow, next month, the month after that, a year from now, and they're still getting the value from you communicating. So isn't that much more powerful than waking up every day and scrolling? It's choosing to find a problem that you can solve, communicate it on YouTube, bring people to a private paid container and make money, and then talk to them in the emails that you send them and do workshops and have a calendar. That's how we get to the level of building a business. Is everybody ready for that level? Are social media platforms bad? No. But this is the level that I'm at, and this is the level that I'm teaching people right now who want to get here. I'm very transparent about my tools because I know that tools are always going to change. It's 10% the tool, it's 90% your thinking. Your thinking is the moat. Your brain is the moat. Your ability to take information, process it fast, translate it into something else, teach it to other people, take people on a journey. That is the moat because certain things have caused me to feel this desire or need to hoard information, but we don't have to do that because we are abundant and we have the ability to make a lot of money. So we do not need to hoard information. We just need to become clear and protect what needs to be protected inside private paid containers. So Instagram, YouTube are Instagram's more like a door. So Instagram's going to orient people into your world. You're going to share tips, tricks, behind the scenes, insider information. You could share little bits of like tips and tricks and hacks and things about what you already do there. Then it's going to cohesively align with the platform psychology and it's going to make sense. On YouTube, people are searching for you and they're finding you based off the video. So they're able to now find me because they're perhaps looking for an engine. And I use that word a lot, an engine, because what is an engine? It's like, let's look it up. What is an engine? So I am going to ask, in terms of like communicating with operators for my audience, and I say this a lot, I say the word engine. Could you describe the difference between like engine, AI operators, and agents so my audience can kind of understand when it comes to ChatGPT versus Claude? I've been talking about ChatGPT versus Claude for like quite a while now, but I know that there's also Google Gemini. And I know that there is Perplexity and Manus AI. Those are the ones that I have used. So I want to give a little bit of context to my audience so they don't think that AI is just like an AI generated thing. They can understand the difference between like the method, me using AI as a translation layer to have more clarity, the understanding of the different tools, and then most importantly, what does the word engine mean? Because I feel like an engine is something when you're using like it in an AI operator, it's not just like a thinking partner, it's like a structured decision engine to help you move. Okay, so we go here. I interconnected my Google Mail to my AI. I probably will disconnect that, but I'm working on learning integrations right now. So then we're gonna go here. This is what I do. So I don't just like stare at AI forever. I give my brain a break and I take the information and then I put it in my Google Docs. Okay. So I copy paste it, I put it in here. So it's kind of like a little bit different. And I will probably change this strategy for a while, but for right now, this is the difference between like an AI model tool to a method to an engine to an operator to an agent, which is like what I'm kind of showing you right here. So if you think that, oh, I don't have a method, I don't have a signature framework, think again because AI is a translation layer is a signature framework. That is a signature framework that I created. And when you keep documenting the proof of you building that body of work, it's going to all come back to you because you're the creator of your reality. You're the one that defines the pain and puts a name on it so you can claim it and understand it and evolve from it and move forward. They're related, but they're not the same thing. An AI tool is where the intelligence lives. So the interface, they have different strengths, models, tools, tutorials, levels of autonomy. For Perplexity describes its core product as an AI-powered search answer engine that retrieves information from the web and synthesizes with sources. Meanwhile, Manus AI explicitly positions itself around autonomous task execution. So that's why Manus AI was good when I wanted to find a prompt to find um, different companies that do not have a website. So I wouldn't teach which AI is the best to teach, which environment should I use for this kind of work. That makes ChatGPT versus Claude part of a much bigger conversation. So your method is how the human thinks with AI. This is where the translation layer concept comes from. I'm not saying ask ChatGPT what your business should say. I'm saying I use AI as a translation layer between what I know internally, what I need to make explicit externally. So that's why I have grown obsessed with like supplements and understanding and almost using myself as a case study to understand the difference between how I feel on medication versus how I feel on supplements. So it has really been eye-opening. And I think that there's a deeper layer of newfound data and research that's already being formed there when it comes to tools like lion's mane and ginkgo biloba. They have these consciousness abilities. Just a side note, I had somebody that I talked to a year ago at one of my tables give her mom lion's mane, and she has not regressed, meaning her illness has not gotten worse, and it's been a year. So something there with lion's mane. I used to human signal, AI translation layer, structured language to decision to action. So once we already have language, we're naming and claiming, then really the only bottleneck after that is making a clear decision. And then once we can make a clear decision, we're like, okay, well, we already know, despite all of these distractions, we already know where we're at and how to build a business. Then the only issue that we need to conquer after that is take massive action because we can learn forever, but we have to take massive action. That's a method of using it. It can happen inside Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other capable model. And it matters because it protects your intellectual property capacity conceptually. The model is not the method. See? An engine is a structured thinking that produces a specific output. This is the world I think that we've been moving to. An engine is not necessarily autonomous. An engine is a structured system that takes an input, runs it through rules, frameworks, context, and produces a useful output. So think input, process, output. So the Founder Signal engine, it's only $7 and it is just that because it asks you the right questions and it says, do you want to see an example of what creating this offer would be like? So this is recursive learning. So I took the Founder Signal engine and I'm also working with clients and I'm having people now texting me, emailing me, messaging me because I'm present and they can see my presence and they're asking if I can help in certain areas. And then by asking if I can help, I'm finding the solution to a problem that they have and I'm serving them before they even work with me. The value is always, always, always inside the book. So it's like the hardcover book analogy. The value in the age of AI is inside the intelligence. So people are saying things like, oh, I know that was made with AI. I'm so happy that we're not using AI anymore on Instagram, like how they have these rules around it. Well, I think the deeper layer is who has signal and who does not have signal because the AI can only like translate for you if you have the signal in the first place. It's only going to make sense if you make sense. And that's a deeper layer. I think studying systems has helped my energy more because even though I'm not perfect, even though I try, things to help me move, um, there's really nothing that brings clarity besides actually communicating and teaching somebody on the screen. So an AI engine turns unstructured information into a structured output using a defined method. It can help someone clarify, diagnose, prioritize, decide, map, generate, and evaluate something. It doesn't necessarily do the work. An operator is an engine designed to run a job. This is where it gets interesting. My operators are like a structured AI system designed to perform a specific role or job with you. So instead of opening ChatGPT and saying, "What do I ask today?" or "What's coming through? Can you translate it?" You are now in an energy where you can have role, context, framework, rules, process, desired output. This is the RCTFE framework. And if you look at my other video where I talk about my addition, the Intel framework, you can now access that for 197. It's in a separate video. And this AI operator, what it does is it helps you form from the intelligence underneath. Like the intelligence underneath is what is created. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little bit excited about the colors. Okay. Content engine operator. This is what we are talking about today, where your positioning, audience, offers, content pillars, proof, call to action, distribution energy are all connected. And instead of saying, I had this conversation with a client today, oh, look, the tool is actually teaching me this is also five-dimensional thinking. Then you give it, I had this conversation, and so we would give the conversation that we had to the tool. Okay, interesting. So now we are thinking about it in terms of employees, not just operators and thinking partners to help us build. If I had the content engine operator in front of me and say it was like Aria is the content engine operator and she's here to help me operate on the platforms. So she would say, okay, your conversation that you had with a client, the bottlenecks you face, the what you are navigating right now and how to communicate better and have timelines, boundaries, constraints, explain the entire process of what you do from start to finish, like when you first get a client and when they pay for the monthly retainer. Now that is a strategy. And that can be taught to other people so they can learn from it as well. An agent is AI that can decide what to do and take actions, but an operator and an agent, they don't mean the same thing. Workflows follow predefined paths while agents dynamically determine their own process and tool use. The description of an agent is essentially a loop of plan to action to observation to adjustment to repetition. So the engine is connected to the processes. So when I created the content engine operator, it's going to come out, and when we talk to it, it's going to spit out information through the interface of ChatGPT, but it doesn't mean it's ChatGPT. It's spitting out information through the interface of ChatGPT so we can have uh, an understanding of the content to produce, whereas an operator performs a defined cognitive job or function. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys, it's kind of dark in my house today. Okay, so we're going to do this again until our thinking gets faster. Okay, so does it have a defined job and a structured way of doing that job is what we can ask. A GBT that answers a question about a topic. A system bot is mostly conversational, something that takes messy inputs and runs your framework into produce a defined result is an engine. Structured input, processing, output. I feel like this is similar to like a generator, and something with a role, context, rules, framework, and repeatable workflow is an operator. Performs a job with the user. So what I like about the operators, it's kind of like a done with you layer. So I make them one time for you and you purchase them from me and you're able to work with it. It's an interactive learning experience. But an agent is something that can independently use tools and take actions, executes beyond the conversation. So an agent might uh, check your emails for you. I haven't used agents much, but it's a different level. The founder signals engine's purpose is to process signal and turn it into decisions and opportunities. The content engine operator is an operator because the system has a job. Operate my content process according to this methodology. An operator can contain engines. Content engine operator can have signal extraction, hook engine, content mapping, call to action, decision engine, distribution engine. All engines, the engines are mechanisms inside the operator. The operator orchestrates those mechanisms to perform the job. So remember, this is so if we give it a name, we can kind of feel like, okay, if this was a person, what would it kind of feel like? It's all connected to content, so that's the common denominator here. She's helping us create consistent, structured content that solves a problem in the market that allows us to get paid. There we go. Whereas a content agent receives an objective, invokes the appropriate engines operator, creates assets, accesses connected tools, schedules published content, records results, adjusts what happens next. That's the agentic layer. So we want to get to this layer, but how can we get to this layer if we haven't created the brain, you know, the business, the actual system? Because otherwise we might just be context switching all the time. And I've heard people say, oh, well, you could just get Claude to do that. You could just get Claude to do that. Sure, but the landscape, what if it changes in 5 years? And what if, you didn't protect your thinking, how you think? That's what needs to be protected and understood. Method, how you apply something. You'll hear entrepreneurs say, this is my unique method. This is my framework for this, meaning like, this is like my map for this. If you follow this map, you'll be able to understand my way of thinking and how I got here and how you can get here too. Operator, how a specific job gets performed, how actions get executed. So the operator is kind of like helping you operate in your business, teaching your team how to run the business can be an operator. We're learning how to encode our methods into repeatable AI assisted systems. And if you want to, I'm in the done for you layer right now because if I operate in this layer and I'm able to make money and I'm able to quit my job, then it's a lot easier and safer for me to open communities and be more present. And that is the goal. So I created another one for you here. So let's find it. I realized you need to talk about things more than one time. Okay, so I'll put this here, and then I will also make this. So one thing that I also do, which is kind of cool, you're gonna like this one. So that one, so now we're taking like this information and we're saying make this audience customer facing, like a proposal or blueprint. Okay. So now we're taking this information that I learned by using AI as a translation layer, allowing me to show you on the screen, me talking to my phone, understanding what comes through, asking questions, using recursive learning. So I had one operator that I created, the Fountain Signal Engine. And I was able to build these done for you offers off of the Founder Signal Engine. So the Founder Signal Engine is the number one entry point into my world because it is the thing that created my world in terms of a practical offer that I could sell to make money that can turn into a real business without selling identity layers and frameworks. While those layers are deeply important, and without those safe spaces for me to contain my thinking, I don't think I would have gotten here or been able to add the nuance of how my bots are different. So this is now for you. So we're gonna go here. Oh, okay. So one more time. So now that it's coming through, just a little slowly. Oh, I don't know, my computer is so slow because there's like no space on it. Okay, here it is. So, audience facing mini blueprint. So this is kind of what it looks like to have like a little mini blueprint. I really like how to use AI as a business system, not just a chatbot. AI is no longer one tool like a chatbot or one way of thinking. Most business owners are familiar with platforms like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, or Manus AI, but the real opportunity is not simply learning how to use it, it's learning how to build structured systems around AI so it can help you think more clearly, make better decisions, create repeatable workflows, and eventually execute parts of the work. And that's what we are moving towards next, agentic systems. This blueprint explains the difference between tool, method, engine, operator, and agentic layers so you can understand what you are actually building. The AI stacked is AI tool to method to engine to operator to agent. Each layer serves a different purpose. The purpose provides the intelligence, the method provides the thinking, the engine structured the decision, and the agent takes the action. Where the intelligence lives. So that's what you can actually discover inside my Intel GPT as well for 197. You can figure out where the intelligence lives or the founder signal engine. And then it talks about these layers here, which environment is best for the job I need to accomplish. How you think AI becomes far more useful when it's given a method. So this is why I wanted to create the Signature Framework Lab because people already have wisdom inside. They just don't understand how to name it, claim it, turn it into a method, put an entire course around it. They might be stuck on the identity layer where they've already named it and it's creating real change in their reality, but they are not turning it into practical problems that they can solve in business. So the translation layer framework, human signal to AI translation to structured language to decision to action. The AI model is not the method. Platforms are going to change, tools are going to change, but your methodology is going to remain the same. AI engines are structured thinking designed to produce a result. An engine can take information and process it through a defined framework to produce a single output. So the founder signal engine, your skills, ideas, experience, proof, recurring questions, customer conversations, interests, and opportunities. Can create a signal. It's very different than typing, give me 10 business ideas. It's extracting the signal. So instead of you feeling like you need to extract wisdom from other people, let like certain things, tools like that come from a person that you feel connected to and you want to learn from, allow that to extract the signal that's already inside you. Okay, so that talks a little bit about it, and then we're going to save this here. I'll put the link in the description. I have to remember how many times I said that in this video. Okay, something also kind of cool that we're going to do. I've been exploring with this recently. So you can take a photo and you can put it into AI and you can say, amplify this or whatever. And we're going to see what happens. Then we're going to also use the content engine operator as well to see what happens. Now that we have a little bit of understanding here. And if you also don't know how to do this, I use Google Drive now to save my Google Docs because I was just having them everywhere for the past 2 years. And then when I put them inside school, I was like, oh my gosh, organization. I like hadn't had the patience or this much of a connection to do that. So school is a community layer. I did use it more like a book layer, which is fine. It created what it needed to create and it got me here. But it is like a community layer and it's also like a competitive community layer. Like they compete for prizes on the platform. Okay, so yeah. Get rid of all the words, keep the title only. Yeah, we don't want all those words. We just want the title. So this is a decision operator and it's going to allow you to work with me. So if you want your own program trained operator, you can purchase this business decision GPT custom done for you build. So that's a lot of words, but you could see it right here. I do also change my GPTs after because of sharing the link. I do that as well. So we go here. media. So we go to media and I can just replace this now with this brand new shiny image and it's kind of cool. And I go to custom, so the whole thing is visible. Business decision operator. So for your business, I will create a decision operator for you, and you just fill out a simple tally form. You get the form when you purchase this, and I get all the information I need about your business. And this business decision operator is going to help you turn your ideas into actionable priorities, crush indecision and overthinking, maintain strategic focus, architect your next offer, and operate with confidence. It has a strategic intake inside, and it's a custom build, so you will receive it within 72 hours. For founders, creators, and service providers who are tired of being overwhelmed by their own ideas and want a repeatable system to decide what matters most. And you could purchase it right here. Okay? So I'll put that in the description. And now we're going to go back to the course here and we're going to check out where did I put it? Content engine operator, help you turn what's already happening in your business into strategic content. Bring your offers, customers, questions, proof, ideas, objections, conversations, or even a messy brain dump. It will help you diagnose what your audience needs next and decide what to communicate, turn into content, outreach, or a weekly plan. So let's just see what happens when we do that. So it says, run my content this week, turn this into content, help me promote my offer, mind my business for content. So we are currently offering this kit online. So the content engine operator is part of that kit. So I could go here and say, like, a little bit about. Okay, so I actually want to sell you to my audience. I'm Nikki and I build done for you websites for founders and early stage business owners who want to become operational in 1 to 3 weeks' time. Maybe they've been selling courses and they don't have their own website yet for what they have that is uniquely theirs. Maybe they have a small business, but their website is outdated. Maybe they're somebody making a lot of money and they just feel a little bit scattered. They know how to use the tools, but they're constantly expanding, and they don't know how to compress things and to make things a little bit easier for their audience to understand so they could take them on a journey right now at this particular moment in time. So, what kind of content should I be structuring on Instagram? Because I struggle a little bit with talking on Instagram. I was using scripts because I needed a little bit of help. I was processing in public and I want to be teaching. I want to be inviting people into my containers and my offers. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So the strongest positioning is sitting inside what I just discovered. I help businesses compress. Someone has built something real, but their business hasn't caught up yet. Their offer has expanded, their tools multiplied, their Instagram is doing too much explanatory work. Their old website reflects a previous version of the business, or they never built one because social platform-based selling worked until now. You come in and turn that into a clear operational digital home within 1 to 3 weeks that aligns with the content engine framework. And the biggest jobs here are understand, trust, act, follow happening throughout your ongoing teaching and perspective. Structure your Instagram around four conversations. You may have outgrown the way your business exists online, which is understand. This is problem recognition content. Talk about situations that tell somebody they are ready for what you do. Your business has evolved 3 times, but your website is still describes version 1. You sell through Instagram, a course platform, DMs, and 5 different links, and nowhere explains the entire business. You don't necessarily need another offer. You may need to compress what you already have. Your audience shouldn't have to assemble your business inside their head. You can be making good money and still have a digital presence that feels strangely unfinished. That's important because my buyer isn't necessarily walking around thinking I need a website designer. They might be thinking everything feels scattered. Your content needs to help them name what they're experiencing before you introduce your solution. And that's exactly the role of problem awareness content in the system. So problem awareness content may be Instagram. Here's what I think about the business. Here's how I think about a business like yours. That's the trust layer. So teaching belongs in the trust layer. But we don't want the account to become endless tips unless those topics are actually supporting the buyer's decision. So we can teach judgment. Someone came to me with 6 offers. Here's the first thing I would look at. That's a judgment. Authority comes from showing your analysis, diagnosis, decisions, frameworks, and pattern recognition, not repeatedly announcing expertise. Look at what changed, just trust and proof. I'd make this a major part of the account. So I'm selling something inherently visual, so use the work. Before, what was happening in their business problem, what was difficult for the customer audience decision, what did you change and why, and show the work. Here's how you can work with me act. If you're recognizing your business in this is the kind of problem I solve in my done for you website work. We take what you've already built and clarify what needs to live online now and turn it into an operational website in 1 to 3 weeks. Don't stop processing in public, just give the processing a job. Your natural language is actually full of useful ideas like compress, take them on a journey at this particular moment in time, operational. Those are much more distinctive than generic web design language. I keep thinking about how many established businesses don't actually have a website. That's an expansion problem. So what this is you don't have to use scripts for every single reel that you say, but it can be hard to condense your thinking into such a small window. So when you have them as like a guide, it can be easier to figure out how to build off of that. So scattered, reel. I always date it. You don't necessarily need another offer. You might need to compress what you've already built because this happens all the time. You start with one offer and then you add a course, the newsletter, a second service, a booking link, a free resource, maybe a community. And because Every addition made sense at the time. You don't realize how difficult the business has become for someone on the outside to understand. You're not necessarily disorganized, you've expanded, but at some point, expansion needs compression. Your customer needs one place where they can land quickly and understand who this is for, what I can do here, where should I start, what's my next step. That's one of the biggest jobs of a good website, not make your business look more impressive, to make the business you've already built easier to understand and move through. That is a lot harder for a creative person to figure out how to say. So having this structure allows the person to now start thinking differently. And in thinking differently and forming problem solution content, now they are able to become clear, become clear for the problem that they are solving instead of performing. And it says exactly that right here. We're selling clarity. One helps people clarify how their business exists online, and the other helps them clarify what their business needs to communicate. This gives the two offers a shared philosophy instead of making Instagram feel like I talk about websites on Monday and sell random GPTs on Thursday. So it says, what else can you build for me? And it goes a lot. But right now I see useful paths for you. So what is it doing there? It's having constraints and boundaries as opposed to regular AI, which is what it's going to do. It's going to keep expanding with you as you expand. And that's what feels really good at first. But then in order to make money, you have to figure out like how to get there, how to be consistent, how to stop expanding. Because if you create one offer and then you create another offer, then you create another offer, you're going to have all these offers, but your audience needs to hear the original offer that you created more than one or two or three times. They need to hear it like 30 times. Okay? So there's the content system where you have a 30-day plan, for example, for Reels. There's your sales system where content can be built around the done for you website offer. And there's an offer ecosystem where we build a full campaign that sells the operator a lead magnet pathway from the operator into services, onboarding prompts for people using it, website diagnostic, audit experience, or mini nurture sequence that moves someone from my business feels scattered to I need Nikki to help me structure this. Okay, next, how So the done for you is always going to be like a higher level layer. Instagram is discovery and perspective. The content engine operator is going to help you have a clean entry point and activation layer for your audience. School is a deeper relationship and implementation community, and done for you websites are a high intent service. Make school the place that people go when they think, I want more of Nikki's thinking, structure, feedback, and implementation support. Okay, so that's for that business. Who I think this is good for are very practical people, like people that are small business owners and founders. They're practical and they need an engine. That's who I think this engine is for. And then if you go to the mini blueprint, you'll be able to access it here. And we just experienced the operator, but in the mini blueprint, that is a different layer. And that's also going to help you build online as well. Okay, so I have to take a break. We did not get into the Signature Framework Lab. It has been very crazy for me, and I don't think I'm going to be able to launch it like I thought. And that's okay. That's okay because I'm learning structure and sequence and organization and what building in public feels like because I haven't built in public before. I've been building offline. This is what needed to happen for me to understand. So I do want to open the doors. Just need a little bit more time. But what I do now is I offer a clean website so you can become operational in 1 to 3 weeks' time. I have done for you AI operator so you can like work with me and purchase for $297 an AI operator. I have the Founder Signal Engine, a $7 entry layer into my world. I have the Content Engine operator. I have Signal to Income. I have From Gigs to Systems. I have the Intel framework that I created. So there's a lot of layers here. And if you found my YouTube, I'm going to share as many links below as possible. And I'm going to figure out how to launch these communities because really that is the only thing holding me back. That is the last dragon that we need to conquer in this new video game where we're at this new level on YouTube. So figuring out how to launch your community, like if you have a school community, right? It's basically like a business in the palm of your hand. You have a business and you have every time that you post on school, like an update, it shoots out to the email list that you have, meaning everybody inside. So you don't even really have to stress out about emails. It's all connected. So we are going to get this up right now. My goal right now is to help other people become operational online with this done for you service because I know you're trying to DIY. I know you're stressed out and you just need somebody to do it for you. And for a very short period, I'm going to be that person. You can apply to work with me at the link in my bio. And what I do is I also give people a free opportunity review inside a Loom video. So I spot a few leaks that I can see in your ecosystem and what we can do to fix them if we work together. And that's it. It's completely free. You just give me your email and I send it right over to you if you fill out the form on my website. Thank you for watching.